Hello and welcome back. Today's video is going to be ranking my Juvia'S Place palettes. I do have 7 Juvia'S Place palettes to rank. If you are interested, I have a whole ranking playlist where I've ranked all my eyeshadow palettes and highlighters and bronzers. I really love Juvia'S Place formula, so this is really hard to do. Honestly, I do like all of these. I'm just kind of ranking them up to my most favorite one. I did previously have the Masquerade Mini, and that one I will say the quality on that was not as good, so I have since decluttered it. And then one of the palettes I will be mentioning, I have depotted, but the rest are in their original packaging. So anyway, like I said, I'm ranking 7 different Juvia'S Place palettes, so let's get into it. Sadly, in last place at number 7 is the Warrior 3. This is the newest one I have from them, and it is beautiful. Like I said, I love their formula and I don't have anything against it, and their artwork is gorgeous. The only reason I'm ranking that one this low is just because I feel like it's a bit more limiting. There's only 2 shimmers, and this may look gray, but they both look blue on the eyes. And the rest of the colors are amazing and you can just do so much with them. However, I think this palette would have been better if one of these blues was a different color and then they had one other shimmer. Just for my personal taste, I think the color story would have been better. However, if you want a really colorful palette and you don't mind that these two are similar, I think it's a really, really good eyeshadow palette and the quality is fantastic. Number 6 is the original Warrior palette. And again, this is beautiful and I really do love their formula. Let me just mention that their mattes are harder pressed. They're not super powdery, but they blend very easily. They do not swatch well, but they work well on the eyes. And the shimmers are so metallic and foiled, which I love. Some of them do work better with a wet brush, but it's not always necessary with their formula. This one I think is kind of the ultimate bronze gold neutral palette. I do really, really love this palette. The only reason I'm ranking it lower is because I have these colors in other palettes. It's just not that unique, but the quality is so good. If this is the type of makeup you like, I think you would really enjoy this palette. There's a yellow gold. This one is more of a copper. That's more of like a true gold. And then here you have 2 more cool toned metallics. Again, there's really only one color that I can use as a crease shade. However, I mix and match palettes all the time. That doesn't really bother me necessarily. They do have a cream color. I just use this to set my eyeshadow primer, but personally, I don't feel the need for these colors in my palettes because I could always use a powder, and I have so many palettes with these colors, I just use those. But anyway, this is a really high quality warm neutral palette. I'm just ranking it lower because it's not as unique. On to number 5, and this is the Warrior 2 palette. This one is really, really good. This one is an all matte palette and it's mostly warm tone neutrals, but there is a gray and a black. This palette is really, really good. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. I think that the colors are different from each other and you can do a lot with it. It is only a matte palette, therefore, if you really want shimmers, this is not it. However, I think that you can really pair this well with a lot of other palettes, and actually pairs really well with the other Juvia'S palettes, especially if you want to use one of the more colorful shimmers on the lid and then tone it down with something more neutral in the crease. But you know, these are not for the faint of heart. They're really, really pigmented like all of the Juvia'S eyeshadows are. I do really, really enjoy this one. For number 4, I'm going with the Zulu palette. I think personally, as far as their bright, colorful palettes, I do like this one better than the Warrior 3 just because, like I said, those 2 shimmers look nearly identical. Therefore, I do think you get more variety with this, and this has 3 shimmers instead of just 2, and they are all quite distinctly different from each other. This one is a bit brighter than the Warrior 3, but yeah, I don't know. I just like these colors better. I love the teals and the green and the blue. This color is more of like a pink shimmer, so you can tone it down with that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything negative to say about this one. I think if you want a really high quality, very colorful palette, I think this is probably my number 1 recommendation. It's just really nice. Okay, number 3 is Depotted, and that is the Magic palette. I love the color story on that one so much. Now, unfortunately, not all of the shades survived the deep prodding process. Oh, and these up here are from the Nubian 2. I did forget to mention that one. I only depotted a few of the shades. I think the quality on that one was just a little bit lower. I think when they moved to this 9-pan formula, I think the quality increased. That's just what I've noticed. But the Magic palette, which is this whole row here, I love it. I love the color story. I love the pinks. I love this duochrome purple. That's one of my favorite eyeshadows ever. This teal is gorgeous. This reddish matte, you have a navy matte. It's just a really good palette. I'll put a picture of the original one on the screen. I've debated purchasing the mini version. The problem with the large one was that the packaging fell apart. The edges were curling up. It wouldn't close properly. Plus it was also very large and bulky, which is why I ended up depotting. So we'll see. Maybe I will purchase it, but I really don't need to because I do have my favorite shades here. Like I said, I think these 4 shimmers down here are probably my favorite in the whole palette. On to number 2, that is the Deuce palette. This one is a really nice color story, and I feel like this is one of the most unique color stories personally. I just really enjoy how they went with more pastel colors, but they're not that faded pastel that doesn't show up very well. This teal is gorgeous. This fuchsia is amazing. This matte pink is one of my favorite matte pink eyeshadows ever. And then this one is like a pink duochrome, you can see there. And these just go on the eye really well. And oh, this color here, Crepes, that's a really unique rosy matte. I've looked in my collection for a dupe to this and I don't exactly have one. I think Paprika from Coastal Scents may be the closest, but I don't know, there's just something so unique about this color story. It's very different from some of their other palettes that are either very neutral or very colorful. I like that this is somewhere in between where it's colorful, but they're more muted and it's just really pretty. I've reviewed a lot of these palettes on my channel before, and I will link my reviews playlist if you do want to see more in-depth reviews, because I think I've reviewed over half of these. But anyway, number 1 is the Saharan 2. This is close with the Deuce because, again, I think that the color stories are more interesting and they're not so bright and colorful. I mean, I love the Zulu, but I'm not someone who's going to wear blue and green on a daily basis. However, I do enjoy neutrals and colorful looks. This one is very versatile because this one has a lot more shimmers. So keep that in mind with their palettes. Think about what your preferences are if you're interested in getting a Juvia'S palette, because this one has way more shimmers and only 3 mattes, but some of their other palettes are all matte or they only have 1 or 2 shimmers. Just keep that in mind. This one has a lot of shimmers and the 3 mattes are a very dark brown. This is a very pinky burgundy and then like a warm brown. The blues are really nice. I think these are prettier type blues than the ones in the Warrior 3. Personally, I just like them more on my skin tone. And then these top 3, they're neutral, but you know, like I said, the Juvia'S formula is not for the faint of heart. I really like this one. I think you can go more neutral or you can go more bright, but again, they're super pigmented. This one I know for sure I've done a whole review on. And yeah, I really love this one. That's it for this ranking video. Honestly, I do like all of these palettes, and if you've been watching my channel, Juvia'S is one of my favorite eyeshadow brands ever. I just love how foiled their metallics are and their mattes are easy to blend. That's just what I like. I think all of these are very good. I will say that the Masquerade Mini, which the Masquerade was their first palette, I do really think that the quality improved when they switched to that 9-pan formula. I just think that the mattes are easier to blend and that the shimmers are more metallic and less chunky. I really think that the quality of all the palettes I own by them is absolutely amazing. So yeah, I love all of these. Let us know what you think. What's your favorite Juvia'S Place palette? And if you're interested, you can check out my review playlist where I have reviewed a lot of these on there. And you can also check out my ranking makeup playlist. That is it, and thank you for watching.